Thanks for calling in. We're going to go straight to questions, and let's take the first two questions. Let's go to Seth Emerson and then Jed May.
Kirby, I guess the news this week in the SEC is that there's been some COVID problems at the Missouri Vanderbilt game called off. Florida had to pause practice today. Just, I guess, an update for you guys. It seems like based on who's been available in the games, things have gone well. How do you think things are going on that front and how you guys are doing?
Really no way to tell. I mean, the biggest thing is you're one day away, one test away, one situation away from a possible situation like Florida's in. You know, I mean, we've been very fortunate, and I think Ron and the medical staff has done a great job for us. But I mean, it's like Ron tells me every time. He sends me an article or sends me a NFL reference, and we post it for our players to see. But we feel like our players are doing a good job. But I'll be honest with you, when they're not here at the facility, I don't always know what they're doing. You know, the biggest concern we have is post game Sunday, and then they're back into a routine Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But you know, you're one exposure, one outbreak away from losing some guys. So we've been fortunate so far, but you know, we don't have all our test results back even from this week.
Hey, Coach, you touched on this a little bit yesterday, but just with higher scoring totals around the SEC this season, just within the league, you know, how have you seen offenses in the SEC sort of evolve, and how much of that do you think plays into just more technology and more, I guess, advanced data when teams are scouting future opponents?
Are you attributing the advanced scouting and the data to the scoring?
No, I'm just saying, you know, with teams, you know, there's more film, you can look farther ahead. There's more, I guess there's more information available about upcoming opponents. Does that play into it at all, do you think?
No, I mean, I'm confused by the question, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't understand what advanced scouting has to do with me, because defense is allowed to scout too. So
right.
If they have advanced scouting, we have advanced scouting. I don't know why that would equate to higher scoring from, if I'm following you right, by the advanced scouting more, they should be more successful on offense because we have videotape as well. So, I mean, I think attributing the scoring is to poor tackling, poor fundamentals defensively, up-tempo offenses creeping in our league. I mean, I'll be honest with you, football gets sloppy when you go really fast. It doesn't mean it's not successful. It doesn't mean it doesn't score points. I'm not saying that. I mean, I've been torched by teams that go up-tempo. I'm not disgracing that. I'm just saying that it gets really sloppy. And as things get sloppy, you know, fundamentals go downhill, and fundamentals go downhill, statistics go up.
All right, let's go to Mike Griffith and then Anthony Dasher.
Yeah, Kirby, I know that you preach making teams one-dimensional and stopping the run first. It sounds easy enough, putting an X in front of an O. How much more of a challenge or altering of schemes does a guy like Naji Harris present at 6'2", 230 with those skills that he has, maybe compared to other backs you see?
Yeah, he's fast, physical, receives the ball well out of the backfield. Makes it much harder to defend. I mean, it's not just Naji though. It's the you know, their offensive line is humongous. I mean, they're every guy's 330, 340, and they wear on you. They lean on you. And I mean, it's like Nick used to say, they got weight classes in boxing, and there's a reason. If a guy's a heavyweight and he keeps hitting a lightweight, eventually the heavyweight will knock the lightweight out. And you got to have enough big guys across the line of scrimmage to withstand that. And, you know, we feel like we're in a much better position now than we have been in terms of depth, but we don't have guys across the defensive line as big as their offensive linemen are. The difference is we've got to be able to substitute guys and play guys and try to stay fresh and try to use our depth to take those punches. And then we got to be able to give some punches by how we play. But Naji creates an issue because he's hard to tackle. They get him in space. And if they're successful with Naji, it makes it really easy on the quarterback in terms of play action game.
Hey, Coach, 3 games in, what are you continuing to learn about this team's makeup that could help it Saturday night?
Well, you know, I feel like we're growing up on offense kind of before our eyes, and it can be a painful growth process. I mean, it's one of those, you go through some tough times with some pups. And I mean, I remember the last year Mel was here, I felt like we were going through that defensively, and it was easy for me to get impatient. And now, you know, we're reaping the rewards of a lot of those kids that were playing then, and they were young. The Tyson Campbell freshman year, Stokes and Richard, all those guys were young and got a little more experience now. And we're going through that a little bit on offense. And I'm watching the maturation process of that. And I'm not pleased with where we are, but I'm pleased with the progress we've made.
All right, let's go to Mark Weiser and then Dean Legge.
Kirby, I saw one set of special teams efficiency rankings that had you guys at number 3 National League. What do you like that Scott Cochran and the staff are doing with the special teams, and where are you still looking for more?
Well, I like Scott's energy, his enthusiasm. He does a good job in the meetings, and the kids enjoy playing hard for Scott. Scott's got a lot of assistance in terms of decision-making and scheme, and we got good players. I mean, the commitment to playing good players on special teams is a big part of being successful at it. And we have good specialists. So when you're going to rank that and you've got a weapon in Camarda and Pod, who's done a great job, you know, it helps your ranking. And to be honest with you, it could change in a drop of a hat. I don't measure. I know everybody loves those statistics, but just like Saturday, I was proud of Kieras. He fielded 3 balls that would have rolled for 20 more yards, and we lost ground on punt return. What they'll never show is that he gained 20 yards by fielding the punt on the bounce, and he did it 3 times, and we dropped, no telling how far in punt return rankings, but I was extremely pleased he did it. So the stats can lie, and you know, we haven't played a team the caliber of Alabama in terms of their specialists, and they've got really good return game, like extremely good, like so good that people don't even kick them the ball.
Kirby, I wanted to ask about execution. It's a word that you've used a lot here lately. How do y'all judge that on a day-to-day basis, or even moment-to-moment basis in practice? And how can you tell if y'all are getting better on that during the week?
Yeah, it's a measurement of, we call it playing clean and taking MAs, mental assignments, and we miss assignments and we chart those, and you try to count one players, and if he had 10 one day, you know, and he goes down to 9 or 8, typically early in the week as we're installing different things, they're higher and they go down as the week goes on. That's the only quantitative measure we have, is the ability to chart that and see if we can reduce that. And you know, each game is different because you can't run the same plays in our conference and expect to be successful. You got to be able to window dress, eye candy, move people around, and try to take advantage of the defense. And when you do that, you create missed assignments for them and you. So if we could just line up static and beat people, it would be a lot easier.
Okay, let's go to Chip Towers, and then we'll go to John from AP. Chip?
Coach, you touched on this a little bit. I was going to talk to you, ask you about your offense. And, you know, obviously Ole Miss did some pretty incredible things against things you don't see against an Alabama defense very often. It follows that, you know, you've got as good an offensive talent as Ole Miss does, certainly at this point of the 2 programs. Is there any reason to think that you can't do that? Or is, you know, obviously Matt Corral and it's a different system, but I mean, is there some encouragement there for your offense being able to turn in, you know, a similar performance?
I'm not into comparisons, Chip, to be honest with you. And we're not Ole Miss. We don't run the same offense. I think Ole Miss did a tremendous job. And I think if you watch Ole Miss's tape and you actually watched the previous 2 games, there's a lot of things Ole Miss did that other teams did. It's a copycat profession. It's a copycat league. Lane does a really good job scheming things. He understands what defenses are trying to do, especially that defense. And he was able to take advantage of some of those things with a really athletic quarterback. And a lot of it had to do with tempo. I mean, there was a lot of you create sloppy play when you go tempo. And that's no offense to Ole Miss, and that's no offense to Alabama. I mean, I see it with us. If somebody goes tempo, it gets really sloppy. And at times offensively, we've gone tempo and it gets really sloppy. So I think you just have to be aware that that can happen, and you got to do what you can do and you do what your team, your quarterback allows you to do.
Kirby, when you're watching Alabama on film, does it ever kind of catch your eye, catch your attention? Not that just how different they are, not talent wise or results wise, but just how much they've changed and how they're doing it with that offense and everything.
How much they've changed from
Yes.
what?
From how the formula they're using for winning, that the fact that they're passing so much more than they did when they're there, that they're putting up 51 points a game. They're just doing it differently. Same results, just different methods. Does that stand out on film? Kind of ever catch your eye?
I feel like the last 2 times we played them, they were scoring that many points. I mean, the time we played them with Tua, we went into the game thinking that they might score 1,000. You know, they had all those wideouts. They were really, really good then, and I felt like they were scoring lots of points then. You know, they also had some really good defensive players along with those teams, which is what made them great. So, I mean, I don't see this team as being completely different, made up of those teams. Now, it's different than when I was there, probably. Yeah, I'd agree with you there. We weren't as prolific passing when I was there, but since the 2 times we've played them, I feel like it's been pretty similar.
Okay, let's go to Jake Rowe and then to Dennis Dodd.
Kirby, wanted to ask you about Jermaine Johnson. Kind of missed the last 2 games and where he's at, you know, through the first couple of days of practice this week, and also, you know, maybe an update on James Cook as well to kind of their status in the Alabama game.
Yeah, they both practiced the last 2 days and been full go, and we're expecting them to be able to play.
Dennis?
Kirby, is Ole Miss's tempo something you can even try? Do you want to try? It was so effective against Alabama. Is that even doable for you guys this week?
You know, I don't know that all of that's true. I mean, I don't know that it's not who we are. You know, that's
Right.
not the team that we are. Certainly who Lane is. I mean, Lane and them have done that. He's been successful doing that where he's been ever since, even when he was at Alabama. But he's kind of wholesale and done that. And it's not all tempo. It's a lot of tempo and keeping you off balance and trying to pitch to you. But everybody does that now in the SEC. There's not a team that says, oh, we're not going to go tempo at any time. I would just say that Ole Miss does it more frequently. And they probably did it even more frequently the other night to try to keep Alabama off balance, which it helps when you get a couple first downs in a row. You know, you wear a defense down. Where you get in trouble in Alabama is when you can't sustain a drive and you go 3 and out or 4 and out or 5 and out, and you can't wear them down. If you're able to drive the ball and convert third downs, which Ole Miss did, it does win your wins. I mean, your defense gets winded.
It was described to me that, you know, Lane is willing to go with his guys on the field because the defense is allowed to sub, but Lane's willing to go and not sub. So yeah, you're kind of caught in the middle. And again, you guys might not even use it, but is that something you've seen?
Well, Lane does it. Yeah, that's exactly right. He doesn't sub. He goes really fast. He tries to not allow the defense to sub, to wear him down. And, you know, there were a couple points in that game where it was tough. I mean, I've been there defensively and you're like, man, doesn't matter what you call, your guys are gassed. And you know what? The other guys are gassed too. It's not always pretty football. It can turn sloppy, but you know, it's not the football I'm used to seeing in the SEC, but it's the football that I've seen in other conferences at times, and it does usually produce offensive numbers.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's go to Jillian and then to Lance if you have a question.
Yeah, hey Kirby. So this matchup really features 2 elite units against one another. So how do you find that edge, and what can this defense do and need to do specifically to succeed against the nation's leading scoring offense?
Well, I don't know. I'm excited to go see. You know, I've always loved a challenge, and you know, we got a good defense. We got a good offense. The game will come down to a lot more than just those 2 units. I can assure you that. It'll boil down to how our offense and their defense play in the special teams. But I'm excited to see it. I know our guys are excited about the challenge. I'm sure offensively it's the same for them. They've heard about our defense, and our defense has heard about their offense. So it's a great opportunity for both units to go out and compete and go play. But I'm excited to see them. It's going to boil down to the line of scrimmage like it always does. If they have success running it, then they'll have a great play action game. If they don't, then you try to make them one-dimensional. That's hard to do against Alabama.
Hey, Coach, you harped on last year about the defense getting more turnovers, be able to get more sacks. And it seems like they've been doing that this season so far. Is there anything that they can step up in their game to create more havoc plays or get more pressure after the quarterback?
I'm confused. Your sense, or anything else we can do to get more?
Is there anything that you guys have been harping on them that they can do better?
Oh yeah, there's a ton we can do better. We have our defensive staff has done a great job of harping on the fundamentals. I think that fundamentals are a foregone conclusion. It's like it's lost in football now. Everybody's, defenses are just like giving up. They're just like, okay, let's get the ball back to the offense. Let's try to cause turnovers and sacks and give up big plays. Either they score or they won't. We're trying every day to do something fundamentally, and I'm a big believer in. All right, let's take this block protection. Let's take this tackling. Let's take this hook and swat. We're just trying to take little small things each day and get better at them for the kids so they can enjoy them, because they show up in games. We show a clip of a drill and then it happens in the game. We're like, hey, I'm glad we did that drill. We didn't, just go rep plays. We try to go drill the stuff. But I mean, it's not a magic potion. I mean, it's good players and it's playing sound fundamental defense. But we got to do it this week, and tackling will be the challenge this week, because you're not tackling your average players anymore. You're tackling some really good ones.
Connor, I'm sure you have a question.
I do. Thanks, Claude. Kirby, given how big Alabama's offensive line is, how much more important does that make a big guy like Jordan Davis for this defense this week?
It's extremely important. Like, it's huge because, the movement in the middle, if I had about 3 Jordan Davises, I'd feel a lot better, because we'd be able to match up with Evan Neal and Leatherwood, the big guys they got. But we got some guys that go in there and fight, and we got some depth, and try to use all those guys we can.
We got time for just 2 more questions, and we'll open up anybody who wants to jump in.
Kirby, can you give us an update on Owen Condon and Tommy Bush?
Yeah, Tommy is going to be out for a little bit, and he's had some surgeries done. Some dental work he's had to get done, and then Owen is practicing, but we're fighting to get him back. He's hopeful for the game.
Thank you.
Coach Smart, you've talked about not overloading players, and there's only so much space in there to execute plays and things like that. But earlier you just said that you can't run the same plays over and over again in the SEC. How do you balance that, not overloading, but also changing things up from a week-to-week basis?
Well, there's only so many snaps in a game. So offensively or defensively, we've ranged from 65 to 85 snaps in a game, and you can't carry so many plays, you can't run them, and you got to do a good job of that balance. And basically, we'll carry as much as we can that they can handle. And defensively, right now, we can handle a little more because of the experience, and offensively, we can handle a little less because of the lack of experience. And it's just where we are, and hopefully the cumulative effect of each game, each week, it grows where something carries over for a kid. Maybe you put something in and you don't use it, you keep it on the menu, and you keep adding stuff. But we're going to do the best job we can to get these guys ready to play, and it's just a matter of how much they can handle and how much they can execute. I want them to be able to play fast and not have to think. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody, for calling in.